This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
It is a story of survival tonight. We hear from a Warrenton man forced to jump from his bike to avoid an SUV. He fell 22 feet from a bridge and waited 13 hours for help. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson. Ann Elred is off tonight.
And I'm Mike Bush. Now, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is investigating this case as a hit and run because the driver drove off. This happened exactly a week ago on a bridge along Highway 19 near Herman, Missouri. That's more than an hour away from downtown St. Louis. The bicyclist was transferred to University Hospital in Columbia, and our Justina Cornell spoke with him today. Justina?
Well, Jeremiah Koch is from Warrenton, but was near Herman to cycle through the Katy Trail to prepare for a big race coming up next month. He decided to ride his bike on his birthday. However, instead of celebrating another year around the sun, Koch was close to seeing his last day.
It's like every movie you've ever seen. I went like this to grab the thing.
Jeremiah Koch recovers and recalls where he was a week ago, biking on a bridge near Herman on Highway 19.
I went into town for a bite, came back, and then I spent the rest of my birthday on the ground.
May 29th is a day that tested him. A driver approached him as he biked by.
He's getting closer and closer. I move a little bit to the side. He's matching me, these types of things. So it was very obvious this guy was out to, kill or hurt or harm somebody.
The pressure squeezed Koch, forcing him into a decision to get hit or jump off. And it was a leap of faith for the martial arts instructor.
In martial arts, they teach you how to fall correctly, and that's pretty much all I've ever done. And I can attribute that Hapkido brake falls have saved my life.
He dropped feet below.
They say it's 22 feet, but it felt like an eternity.
And then he waited 13 hours for help.
I was yelling for help, whatever. But I'm under Highway 19, underneath a bridge. Nobody's going to hear you.
He broke multiple bones, including his back. Despite hearing coyotes and working with limited food and water, Koch was committed.
The mental fortitude, the emotional stability, don't panic, stay calm. What's the next thing? Survivability.
It's a lesson he's used to teaching, and it became a practice he used himself. After hours under the bridge, he made a move to be visible.
I set small goals, 3 feet at a time. It paid off. That last push paid off. If I would have stayed underneath the bridge, I would be done. There ain't no way.
2 pedestrians walked by.
And I just light up, man. I mean, it's just everything I had. Just screaming. And the guy, I'll never forget, he just pokes his head over the side and he goes, "Hey, man, need some help?" And I'm like, yes, I do.
While nothing prepares you for this moment, his practice became a protector. Patience and perspective is the foundation to his lessons, and now the foundation for his fight.
You have to stay calm and you have to chunk through your problem in order to survive.
Now, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is still looking for the driver of the gray SUV. They're asking anyone with information to give them a call. Now, there is a GoFundMe set up for the victim. If you'd like to help, you can head to our website, ktk.com, and go to the section as seen on TV.
Amazing story, Justina. Thank you. Well, tomorrow, the Kirkwood City Council will take on a big problem along Big Bend Road. For years, they have tried to lower the speed limit along one of Kirkwood's busiest streets. The city wants to lower the speed limit on Big Bend between I-270 and the eastern city limits by at least 5 to 10 miles per hour. 5 Minute Side's Tracy Henson explains why leaders are asking St. Louis County to make it happen.
So, Kelly, the speed limit along Big Bend is around 40 to 35 miles per hour, and we put that to the test today using a radar gun.
The average on that road is 45 miles an hour, which is pretty high.
We checked, and Mayor Gibbons is right. There were plenty of drivers following the speed limit, but the ones who weren't were typically going 10 miles an hour or more over. We were at the intersection of Old Big Bend and Big Bend, but Mayor Gibbons says the whole street is a problem.
There's also a school. Robinson Elementary is just down Couch, and many kids walk down Big Bend to get to school. There's also Merrimack right there.
Kirkwood has tried to get the city limit reduced, but Big Bend is a county-managed road.
We met with the county, the former mayor and myself, 2 years ago, to see what we could do to improve the safety on Big Bend. At that time, we asked if they would lower the speed limit and got a pretty resounding.
She's trying a different way to get St. Louis County to listen.
We thought we would go ask them via a resolution to lower it by 5 miles an hour.
Kirkwood is represented by District 3 St. Louis County Councilman Dennis Hancock. He says it's unusual to go the resolution route.
Not usually. Usually this goes through the Transportation and Public Works group, but if they want to pass a resolution, it may carry a little bit more weight if the City Council does something like that rather than just some individual phone calls.
As long as the resolution passes during Thursday's city meeting, Hancock will support it.
I tend to listen to my constituents. If they tell me this is what they want, I don't know that I necessarily see a downside to it.
Mayor Gibbons says the 30-mile-an-hour ask is just a start. She and other residents would really like to see it come down to 20 or 25 miles per hour. Now, I also asked her about the timing of this resolution, if it had anything to do with the fatal crash that happened behind me on Geyer and Big Bend earlier in May. She said it did not, and that they've had this in the works for some time. In Kirkwood, I'm Tracy Hinson, 5 on your side.
The Army Corps of Engineers has completed an effort to remove contaminated soil along a stretch of Coldwater Creek near Jana Elementary in Florissant. The school shut down in 2022 over conflicting reports of radioactive waste. The creek is contaminated with atomic waste buried in the area decades ago. The Army Corps of Engineers says the contaminated soil has now been replaced. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley and other Republicans defeated a push to protect access to birth control and contraceptives in the U.S. Senate today.
2 Republican women in the Senate supported the plan, but it still fell short of the 60 votes it needed to pass. Our political editor Mark Maxwell has more on what was in the proposal and what this vote means in an election year.
The Right to Contraception Act would block states from banning the sale or transfer of birth control pills. Senator Josh Hawley voted against it, and you can guarantee Democrats will remind you about that vote in their push to beat him in November. Republicans complained that was the whole point.
The issues of freedom and privacy are worth fighting for, and this vote today is going to be a record vote.
Top Senate Democrats put Republicans on the spot Wednesday.
Routine use contraception should be safe and accessible.
Iowa Senator Joni Ernst said she supports birth control, but argued the definitions in this Democratic plan were too broad.
It defines contraception so broadly that it likely also includes a right to a chemical abortion pill.
This was never about finding real solutions. This was always about fear-mongering and election year stunts.
Texas Republican Ted Cruz downplayed the impact of the vote.
In just a few minutes, we're going to see Democrats engage in a show vote.
This is not a show vote. It's a show us who you are vote, and the American people are watching.
While Democrats like Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth insisted personal family planning decisions are truly at stake.
Birth control, including Plan B, are under threat.
There is no state or territory that bans access to birth control pills.
The proposal singles out Missouri and other red states that, quote, infringed on people's ability to access their contraceptive care by violating the free choice provider requirement under the Medicaid program. And said states have attempted to define abortion expansively so as to include contraceptives.
Many Republicans will say we're being overzealous and that there's no real threat to birth control. Well, they also said we were overreacting when we said Republicans were coming for Roe.
Hawley did not rise the debate against the bill on the floor. His office has also not explained his vote against this proposal, not yet. Democratic challenger Lucas Coons says Hawley's vote is evidence of his, quote, total obsession with controlling every single part of our lives, including what women do with their bodies and how Missourians build their families.
Coming up, closing the healthcare gap in St. Francis County, how a new name allows a Bonne Terre hospital to expand services.
Plus, a woman trying to end a relationship survives 2 attempts on her life.
And in weather, started out with a little bit of shower thunderstorm activity. Now this front finally moving through here. Drier air is pushing on in, less humid too. It's 83 right now. We'll talk about a really nice couple of days coming up.